Just got back from the shore with my family. We go down to Ocean City every year, and it's kind of far down the shore, kind of close to Philadelphia. And there's a guy from Philly who runs a record store down there on Asbury Avenue, and it's called Grassroots Music Store. Not a big store, and they don't have really the best selection of used stuff. I always think that a record store's used section is a reflection of the neighborhood they're in, and I guess in a shore town, you're not going to get the most interesting used stuff. But he always has well-curated new stuff, and so I wait to buy new things when I go down there. He's a big David Bowie fan, so I've slowly been replacing all my either beat-up high school David Bowie records or CDs on, new Parlophone reissues of David Bowie, because I know his Bowie section is tremendously huge. First off, though, I started with Iggy Pop the Idiot. I have needed this on vinyl for a long time. I'm a big Iggy Pop fan. But whenever you go into stores, and you can see this everywhere, whenever you go into stores, if there's already like 5, 10, 15 records I want to buy, and I see this, I'm like, well, you know what, I'll get it next time when I'm in a store where there's nothing or I don't find anything. It's like, well, at least I'll bring Iggy's the Idiot home. So I finally got this on vinyl. I've had it on CD for decades. This was his first solo album, 2 years removed from the proto-punk wildness of the Stooges. Iggy and David Bowie collaborated on this record. Bowie was going through his Berlin phase, Low, Hero, and The Lodger. And The Idiot reflects that album. It has elements of electronic music, industrial, art rock. It's dark and atmospheric. It's a big departure from the Stooges, and a fantastic album, and I'm sure most of you people watching this already know this album. David Live, I had just a beat-up copy from high school that I wanted to replace, and not only does this sound better, but it's got a whole third record, so it's got a lot of bonus tracks from the same concert. This was a tour in support of Diamond Dogs, also from '74. This album came out in '74, and this was supposed to be the live album from the Diamond Dogs tour, but as everybody knows, David was so restless and creative back in those days that he was already moving from the glam rock sound of Diamond Dogs to a more soul sound of 1975's Young Americans. And this tour, from everything I've read, reflects that. He kind of retooled the tour to reflect more of his new soul interest, which would be apparent on the album that came out after this, Young Americans. The band is a raw wall of sound, though. I mean, for moving into his soul era, it's still just snarling rock and roll. A lot of it fueled by Earl Slick, the guitar player, and Bowie always had the best guitar players. Stevie Ray Vaughan on his Let's Dance album, Earl Slick, Mick Ronson at the beginning, of course, Robert Fripp, Adrian Belew on a lot of the stuff from the Berlin period. Reeves Gabrels, who started in '88 on the first 10 Machine record, all through the '90s. Fantastic guitarist. And David Torn, a really interesting, adventurous guitar player. If you don't have any David Torn, look him up. He was on, which one was he on? I think he was on Reality 2003 and 2013's The Next Day. Anyway, happy to have it. Next up, in the new bin, he had a couple Slayer records I don't have. And by the mid-90s, alternative music was creeping in, and grunge and Pearl Jam was big, but Slayer didn't get the memo, and they just kept churning out heavy album after heavy album. And this is a total slab of heaviosity. This came out in 1994. And then 2001, I think, was when God Hates Us All came out. More brutal and more heavy. And their consistency in maintaining brutal intensity is what has made this band revered. Honestly, at my age, I don't put this stuff on very often. It's a little loud and aggressive, but when I do feel like metal, Slayer's one of the bands in my arsenal. And I was happy to find this, Medeski, Martin and Wood. This is their second album. It came out in 1993. It's a jungle in here. And it is, if you don't know them, it's adventurous funky soul jazz. They are a New York City keyboard, bass, and drum combo. And they're doing, on side 2, the first cut is Monk's Beshma Swing mixed with Bob Marley's Lively Up Yourself. And that is indicative of their genre blending, as well as a mix of avant-garde and funky jazz that no matter how far out they get, they can always find a groove. So their entire catalog is worth checking out. And later did some collaborations with John Scofield that are fantastic. Love Medeski, Martin and Wood. That's it. Always a good trip down to the shore.